Hey, 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 we're back. It is time for Second Sundays. Hey, when death came knocking on my door 3 times and get you more dupe, my daughter. Yes, so we ready for this lesson on children and African spirituality. Hey, Frank Cabo, welcome. We ready, we ready, we ready. Hey, 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 hey. Get ready, get ready. Hey, friend Danny, good morning, afternoon now. It is noon, Kinshasa. Good to see you. That was a lie, cause about the lies got my back. Hey, your Odu is your claw. Your Odu is your claw. Hey, days, we back, Sharon and Cabo again. We are ready for our afternoon service. Yes, so. And I give a boo. You're the only one. I know you got my back. Obatala's got our backs as we get ready to dive in to talking about the importance of children in African spirituality. Yes, so drop a comment as you come in. Hey, don't let them hate on you. Hey, hey, hey. We are ready. Hey, hey, hey. We ready. Hey, Jess. Yes, so. Hey, Rosalind. Hey, good to see you. Come on, Sharon. We glad. We got to keep it pumped. Just because we home, our homes are our sanctuaries, so we want to fill them up. Hey. Thanks. Hey, I'm nowhere around. Hey, 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 Crystal. Yes, so Azure, welcome back. Hola, blessings. Hey, I'm feeling all right. Hey, where we going, y'all? Go ahead, point them fingers. We're going to the mountaintop. Hey, headed to the mountaintop. Hey, we're going to the mountaintop. Hey, hey, headed to the mountaintop. Woo! Get ready. Yes, so we are headed to the mountaintop. Give thanks, give thanks. Oh, yes, Jen, I am wonderful. Give thanks. Zipporah, good to see you. Nandi, welcome back. Billie Jean. Hey, Oboato. We are back. It is time for Second Sundays. This is our once a month time where we come together and topic in African spirituality. And I, of course, welcome your questions. So you are welcome to drop a question into the chat at any time. I will get to as many as I can live. And then, I always come back into the comments and answer as many questions as I can as we continue. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful season. We are coming into the end of the year, and we are excited for this time of shedding, for this time of getting ready for the new year. As we know, this is the Gregorian calendar, right? The Gregorian New Year. The Yoruba New Year is actually in June, but because we live in this part of the world where the days, those of us who are in North America, where the days grow shorter, where this energy is moving around us, where the darkness is coming in and preparing for the light to come back, we have to pay homage to this season and this time when many of us are slowing down, cold and even in the, of course, COVID has us in, but even in the absence of COVID, this is a time that many of us would be in more and spending more time at home and spending more times with our children. Okay. So this is important. This is why it was on my spirit to speak about children today, to speak about how we involve them in the tradition, to speak about what children mean and who they are, because some of us got it a little bit twisted. Blessings. Some of us got it a little bit twisted about who children are and why we have them. Okay, and so today we're going to share a little bit about that, especially as we know this season of Christmas, Kwanzaa, whether we celebrate them on that esoteric theological level or not, many of us gather together with our families. Many of us engage in gift exchange and these types of things at this time of the year. And so children are often really active at this time of the year. They're excited about the end of the year, about a new year. They're excited for presents. They're excited for spending time with their parents who may be home on vacation from work and things like that. Again, even in the absence of COVID, this is often a time where we would be spending a lot more time together. And so children, so important to our understanding of African spirituality, right? They're so important to our children. If you have the Mojuba prayer book, and you know when we ask for our blessings, we ask for what? Ire owo, ire omo, ire aiku, right? Ire owo, ire omo, ire aiku. Right? And so that ire omo that we are asking for is the blessing of children. The blessing of children. Well, one of the reasons that, and the very first principle as we speak about children and African spirituality, is that children are wealth. We value children. Okay. And of course, much of this goes back to when we were farming peoples, and having more children meant having more labor. But that's really a very low level understanding of it. Really, one of the reasons why children are well children that we continue to live even after we have left our physical bodies. It is said that we continue to live on earth as long as there are people here to call our names. And so that's why we all of us are somebody's child, right? And so we call the names of our elders, of our ancestors, to keep them alive. And so this is a part of the reason why children are wealth, is that it is through children that we become ancestors. It is through children that we continue to live. It is through those who call our names. It is through those who will pour the libation for us. It is through those who will continue to feed us. It is through those who we bring into the world that we will continue to live. And so children are wealth. There's no other way that humanity can continue except through children. But one thing that is very important to understand is that children are people. They're little people. They're not possessions. The idea of a child, understand, is not a thing, but it's a stage of life, right? We all go through our stages of being baby, of being child, of being adult, of being elder, and then finally of being ancestor, right? So it's a stage. So one of the things that we have to remember is that children are people. And so the Yoruba are very clear about this. This is one of the reasons why we have what is called, right, our Esentaye and our Akose Jaye, our time of tasting the world. These ceremonies are important because they introduce a child, again, who's only a child for a short time in that phase. They introduce a new human being. I'm going to start saying that, a small human, right? It introduces a new human being to the earth. It introduces a new human being to what it means to be, right? And so that is one of our primary understandings, that children are people. They are not possessions. They are not little things to make what we want them to be. They are human beings who we have been charged with the care of, who we have been charged with helping to fulfill their destiny, not ours, right? Their destiny is a part of ours, but understand that each person that comes to the destiny, and whether we agree with what that destiny is, whether we would rather that destiny be something else, everybody comes with their own. And so, one of our primary roles as parents, and yes, not only biological parents, right? As Jen said, the niece and nephew, understand that in Yoruba language, there is no word for uncle, aunt, niece, nephew. There's none of those words. There's only two. There's iya, there's baba, and there's omo. That is, there is mother, there is father, and there is child. What does that mean? That means that from a Yoruba, from an African perspective, from a Yoruba perspective, every child is your child. Every woman is iya. Every man is baba. There don't even exist words for anything other than that. Because the idea is that we are all the mothers, all of the children in our communities, starting, of course, with our own families. We are all their mothers, we are all their fathers, and all children are our children, right? They are people who come to the earth to fulfill their own destinies. And so, as I mentioned, I believe in one of my other videos, go back and watch the other videos, or I'll be, connecting things. But one of the things we talk about is the fact that when children are born, one of the reasons why a baby is supposed to have their own Ifa, to help us understand who the human being is that has just re-entered the earth, so that we learn, because they can't tell us, right? The Yoruba say that we choose our destinies when we are in Orun, in the heavenly realm, and then we pass through all of these stages before we come to earth, so that we forget what it is that we're meant to do. And then, of course, when we enter the earth, initially we can't speak, we can't express ourselves in those ways. And so it is that our parents are taught who we are, right? And so for those of you who are parents, please, please, please consider, especially if your child has never had a naming ceremony or an Ifa divination, having that done for them, having a naming ceremony. Even if you've already given them a name, they will get more names, and having their own Ifa divination to help introduce them into the world and to help you know who they are, who it is that you've been put in charge, who the human being is that is trusting you to help them fulfill their destiny, right? Because some children, as we've talked about, some children must not be yelled at. For example, when we talk about discipline, some children must only be handled very gently and kindly in certain ways. All children should be handled kindly, but Ifa tells us that different people have different ways that we're able to interact with them. And we know that from the second you say anything to them, they're ready to cry and run off. And some people are harder. So they only hear it if you come with it like this. They only listen. Whoa, now they're like, oh, okay, I hear you now, right? And so Ifa tells us, Ifa divination, when a person is born, when a person comes into the world, helps us to know who that person is and how we should relate to them as a fellow human being. Not necessarily even just as our child, but as a fellow human. And as well, that education was much different for our ancestors, right? People like to say that the West brought education, but they brought a particular type of education. Of course, we had our own education systems, and our education systems were based on our divination and who each individual was meant to be. And so if, for example, a child's divination says that they are going to be a gifted artist, they would be sent to the artists to learn. And that, right? Of course, they would learn other things along the way, but they predominantly would be there. If the child's destiny said they are meant to be a great priest or Olorisha, Ifa priest, Babalawo, Yanifa, then they would be sent for training in that regard. If it says they're supposed to be a musician, they'd be sent for training in that regard, etc., etc., etc. Right? And so our education was very much individualized based on who a person is. Remember, our people, they're small people who can't tell you who they are yet, but there's no such thing as tabla rasa, right? Nobody comes blank slate for you to just put stuff into them. No, they already come with their own energy. They already come with their own destiny that they are meant to fulfill. And one of the things that we are meant to do is to protect children, right? We are to protect them. We are to shield them as much as possible from the harshness of the world, but also get them to understand the world so they don't get out there and are like, whoa, what happened? How come you didn't tell me? Right? And so it's very, very important for us to relate in this way. And so there are a couple of proverbs that I want to share. You know, I love to share proverbs and I love to share the wisdom from Ifa and also from the Yoruba people as a people. And many other cultures speak about this. Of course, you know, Yoruba culture is the one in which I'm most versed, so it's the perspective from which I speak. But this is across the board in African cultures, right? And from an African cultural and who children are, of who human beings are, of how we come to the earth to fulfill our destiny. So one of the proverbs that we say about children is Omo eni ki igbo nse kafie sunu nidi. It says that we don't, after a child defecates, wipe the child's anus with abrasive grass. Right? Now that might sound, we don't wipe with any grass now, but the point of this proverb is that we don't seek to harm those who come to us for help and for in our care. So this speaks to the care to which we should treat our children, that we don't want to be too abrasive, that we don't want to use things on them that we know are going to hurt them, that we want to be cautious how we treat our children, because again, they are people, right? The same way that some of us, and I'm talking to somebody, you know, I keep it real. Some of us talk to our children real, treat everybody better than we treat our child. Some of us got an ear for everybody, but as soon as a child comes and says, mommy, daddy, we're like, oh, go ahead, go sit down somewhere. Get out, it's that, right? Not understanding that this is the person who's going to pour your libation. This is the person who's going to take care of you in your old age, possibly, right? This is the person for whom your whole legacy is being embedded. And so we want to be caring and we want to be gentle with our children, letting them get away with, nonsense, because, discipline is important. However, our first mode of being with them should be gentle, right? We don't want to intentionally hurt them or say, oh, well, I had it rough, so you need to have it rough too. That's not, again, as I spoke about at prayer and meditation this morning, those are conditioned. Those are ways that we've been conditioned by being enslaved, colonized, and abused. That's not our way. That is not our way. The soft grass to wipe our children's bottoms with, right? We seek the soft leaves to use on our children. We do not want to be unduly abrasive. Another proverb that I want to share in terms of this, again, going back to our first point that children are people and not possessions, is that we have to respect children's wisdom, right? There are times when we think we know everything. All of us who have been children at different times, we're like, God, could you just listen to me? I know a little something I'm trying to tell you, right? So one of the things that we say is that we have to respect children's wisdom, right? We have to respect children's wisdom. It says, Owo omode otopepe ti agbalagba, owo akeregbe, that a child's hand cannot reach the top shelf, but an elder's hand cannot enter a gourd, means that there's wisdom that comes both from the elders as well as from the children. And so children are not, again, possessions to just put in your pocket and say, sit down, be quiet, and just do what I tell you. They are people, they are human beings who you have been put in charge of. And so respecting their wisdom, understanding that, as the Yoruba say, it's the youngest palm frond that is closest to heaven. Listen, listen about that. In fact, let me show y'all because I want you to get this analogy. This is not a palm tree, but it grows similarly. Okay. I want you to get this analogy. Now, look at this. Look at this. These are the young shoots coming up, right? And so we say the youngest palm frond is closest to heaven. The young, new, tender shoots are coming out the top. They are shooting, they are looking up, they're absorbing from the heavens. Now look what's up with these ones that have been on here for a minute. They droopy. Right? they droopy, right? They pointing down to the ground. Some of them even got a little brown on them, right? They get tired, they get droopy, right? But the young ones are still standing tall, standing firm, ready to receive. These ones down here, they may not take the light as well, right? They may not get all of that as well. So that is I wanted you to have that visual when we say the youngest palm frond is closest to heaven, that they are being receptive. They are still in that stage of pulling in all things from the divine. Whereas those of us who are a little aged, right? We start to lean down, we get a little bit tired, we're not as energetic a lot of times about life. Right? Barbara said, I know about that droop. Come on now, keep it real, speak the truth, tell the facts. Right? A lot of us know about that droop. Right? And so it's important for us back to the wisdom that comes through our children, respect their small hands and ask them for help. Right? That's one of the things too. We have to ask them for help. Otherwise, you'd be trying to stick your own hand in a gourd and getting stuck because you didn't want to ask the child to help you. Okay, so very, very, very important as we think about children being people again and not possessions, right? Something else that we have to understand when we're speaking about children, the Yoruba tradition and in the Ifa Orisha tradition, and I spoke about that this in one of my other videos as well. Children have been largely excluded from the tradition. Okay, people have largely excluded their children from the tradition, either not taking them to ceremonies, leaving them home, doing, all of those kind of things. And I will tell you why that is. That goes historically back to the time when we practice our traditions in secret. Okay. During the times, of course, of enslavement and colonialism, right? We had to practice in secret under literal fear of death. Understand that the very fact that we still have these traditions today is a miracle and is a testament to the tenacity of our ancestors. The very fact that we can even sit here today and call the name of Olodumare and call the name of Oshun and Oya and Oloku and Babaluaye and all of the Orisha, it is a miracle because every force sought to tear us away from our traditions. We were threatened with death, and many people did die in maintaining these traditions. And so understand that this is where, as I talked this morning about our conditioning of looking away when one of us is being hurt, right? That comes from enslavement. Normally, we are people who rush to each other to get involved. Hey, what are you doing? Stop it. Come. That's our way. Not this, somebody's getting it over there. Okay, let me look this way, right? That's conditioning. That's conditioning. That comes from captivity. That comes from bondage, right? And this idea of excluding our children is also conditioning because, of course, children are innocent. They speak the truth. They tell the facts, as Ifa says we should. And so we got conditioned to practice, right? Because of the fact that if a child happened to say something they shouldn't say at a time they shouldn't say it, it could have meant death for the whole family. If a child happened to go out and start talking about Obatala because they happened to be at an Obatala ceremony and the wrong ears heard that, it could have meant harm, hurt, danger, or even death for their family. But here is the beautiful part. We ain't there no more. We are not there anymore. So we have to, in the same way that we operated under enslavement and colonialism, because that's not where we are anymore. Yes, there's still work to be done to bring our traditions up to the level of respect and understanding that they should be, but understand that we are not there anymore. And so this idea of hiding things from children or waiting till they're old enough to understand or waiting till they're old enough to make a choice, no, right? As the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go. That doesn't go that way, but you train them, you show them what is right. As the elder, that is your job. Not to say, well, I'm not going to give them anything and just wait for them to be old enough to decide what they want to do, right? Direction, discipline, very, very, very important, right? In terms of bringing our children into the fold, in terms of showing them what they need to see. And so one of our next tips as we speak about children is that they're smart, right? As much as possible. Doesn't mean that we should tell them everything that they're not able to handle as yet, but we don't lie, even about our own feelings, right? Children are very smart, they're intuitive. If your child sees you crying and they come and say, Mommy, what's wrong? Or Daddy, what's wrong? Don't tell them nothing. That's a lie. It's a lie. You can tell them, Daddy, Mommy, I'm feeling sad right now. Thank you for noticing, right? It's not something I want to talk to you about, but thanks for my feelings and for caring. When they are asking about how we are doing or what's going on, don't lie to them. They're smart and they'll know. They'll know. They'll know. They may not know the exact facts of the lie, but they'll know. They're gonna you probably seen it. If you done told your child something that wasn't quite and they done stood there and gave you that look like, okay, right? Like mommy said and or daddy said, but okay, I'm gonna let that go. Right? Don't keep it real. Tell them what it is. Tell them, tell them, tell them, tell them. Know that they're smart and respect their intelligence, and know that smart children will bring glory to you. One of another proverb that the Yoruba share is that it is the wise child who will inherit glory. It is the idiot child that will bring shame home with him, or her, or them, right? So understand that training your child is in your benefit, right? Raising your child is to your benefit. Raising a wise child who is secure in themselves, who understands themselves, who understands God, who is connected to the divine, all of that will bring glory to you. Keeping your children in ignorance, hiding things from them, right? Having them go out here without all the tools that they need, that will bring shame to your family and your legacy, right? So it is in our interest always to introduce the wisdom to our children, right? To introduce the wisdom to our children and to set them up to bring glory home for us, to set them up to bring glory to the family, to set them up to bring glory to themselves, right? We give thanks and praise. We give thanks and praise. We always want our children to bring home, and we never want them to walk in shame. And so we begin always to introduce them. I see Sakina says, I didn't introduce Ifa to my children in the beginning. I waited until I knew more about it because I didn't want to lead them into something not right. Now my son loves it. Beautiful, beautiful. And I want to say, yes, I know for many of us who are new on the path, we may wait to introduce things because we're afraid that, maybe we don't know enough or what have you. Again, don't complicate it. Don't complicate. Know that spirit is spirit, right? A lot of times, unfortunately, because we have been so disconnected from our traditions, we get into this mode of treating it like school, right? Treating it like, well, I need to know facts and I need to know this and I need to know that before I can share. But understand that this is about spirit. This is about spirit. So when we talk about introducing things to your children, of course, you can't explain anything to them that you don't understand yourself. That's why, and for you to learn, it's important for all of those who are parents to have the resources and importantly to understand that the role of the parent is not to know everything. The role of the parent is to know where to take the child to get everything that they need. I'm going to say that again. Your role as a parent is not to know everything, but it is to know where to take the child to get what they need, right? So as a parent, of us homeschool, but for the most part, we send our children somewhere else to learn. We take our children to the doctor. We take them to the place to buy clothes. We take them to the place to buy shoes, right? We don't, at one point, maybe we did all of that. But at this point, we're not making and doing everything, but we know where to take them. So anything that you don't feel like you know enough, take the children to your elders. Bring them and tune into prayer and meditation with them. I love, love, love those of you with your children, right? That you listen and watch with your children. Yes. And guess what? They're going to pick up more than you do. Their brains are young. Their palm fronds are still fresh and standing straight up. I've had so many people who have gotten the Mojuba ebook come back to me and say, my 5-year-old, my 10-year-old, my 8-year-old got it down pat way before I did. Of course they did, because their brains are fresh. And especially when we talk about language, our tongues get fused after a while. Did you know that? At which our tongues get what they call, tongue fusion. And there's a point at which it becomes much more difficult for us to make sounds that we've never made before. Did you know that? So children, the ideal time for language learning is between the ages of 3 and 10. Right? Children introduced to language at that time will pick it up like a sponge and they'll be able to say everything. Trust. Introduce it to, I want you to do this. If you haven't Mojuba and you haven't shared it with your children, and see how quickly they pick it up, right? How quickly those young brains just pop into everything. And so this is an important thing. Again, you don't have to know everything, but include your children in the things that you're doing, right? Include them. Don't tell them you go play while mommy's meditating and watching Iafunlayo. No, let them know who Iafunlayo is too. If you don't feel like you know enough, let them listen to me. Let them, right? Turn off the cartoons and put on one of Yalode's YouTube videos. Watch them pick it up. Watch them go into their room and start building their own altars because they're not afraid. That's one of the things with children, right? That's how, when I was a child, that's how I got to be who I am now, because as a child, I was so open. I've been doing this since, I would pray, I would sing, I would cry, I would have things in my room and stuff set up. And I didn't even know what I was doing. And my parents certainly, right? But Olodumare touched me directly, right? And so the more we introduce to our children, the more, as Sister Zakina said, they're going to love it. They're going to soak it up because it's about them. Let's understand that too. So much. Understand that why, especially our young Black boys, often don't do well in school is because that ish ain't about them and they know it. There's nothing in the things that they are taught that reflect them. Their histories, it's not their stories. The storybooks have characters that don't look like them. The history books is talking about people that ain't them. And the only thing that they hear about themselves is what? Hmm? That they were enslaved, that they had to fight for their rights. Everything that they get taught about who they are is from a position of deficit. And that's why African spirituality is so important to teach to our children and share with our children from the beginning. So, world as new human beings, believing that they are coming from a place of deficit, but understanding their power, understanding their strength, understanding their divine connection, understanding that, yes, we as African descended people have had a lot of struggle, especially here in the diaspora, well, all over. And I won't even say especially here, all over. But that is not what defines us and who we are, right? But you, mama, daddy, ya, baba, teach that to the children. And again, it starts with understanding who and what they are. It starts with understanding that they are people, they are not possessions, that it is up to you to teach and to guide them. Ashe, ashe, ashe. And so, in the spirit of teaching and guiding, I wanted to share just a couple of beautiful resources that are available out here. A lot of times folks say they don't know where to get things for their age appropriate and about the tradition and those types of things. And so we're going to get fancy here for a second. Let's see. This is my first time doing this. So let's see. We finna get fancy. We finna get fancy. All right, hold up, hold up. Here we go. Wait, wait, wait. Okay, here it goes. Ah, bow. Ooh, we're fancy. Uh-oh, wait, did I share the wrong? Hold on. See, I was trying to get fancy. All right, here we go. All right, beautiful. So, one of the first resources that I would like to share with you today comes from one of my sisters, Sister Regine Romain, who some of you may have met at the ADRSA conference earlier this year. She has recently come out with a coloring book that speaks about the gudu gudu, or the earthquake that took place in Haiti, and the beauty of Haiti, right? Introducing and speaking. Again, we can speak to children about hard things in an appropriate way. And so this is one resource that I wanted to share with you. This is new, just in time for this time of year for your giving. And that is available at regineromain.com. I'll put some of these links into the chat in a bit. Also, in the category of books, I'm so excited to share this with you, which is Yeye Sweetwaters and the Mean Mermaids. This is by our sister Ananda Free. It has a book as well as plush toys that go with it. Okay. Yes, it has the book, it has the plush toy that goes with it. You can see our youngins playing with their mermaids and reading their books. And importantly, look at this. Look at this. I love this. The mermaids are come in different body shapes, which is so, so, so important, right? Different body shapes to show all of our young ones that they are beautiful in all of their different shapes, because so many, of course, of our dolls and toys only come in one size. And as a child myself, y'all see I got the thickness. I always had that thickness. Never had dolls that reflected my body, right? And so, this is so beautiful. And the book, Yeye Sweetwaters and the Mean Mermaids. It's a beautiful book that teaches about part of what we talked about earlier in terms of forgiveness, in terms of people doing things that are wrong and then coming back and being forgiven and being reintegrated into the fabric. So give thanks. And I see y'all got me laughing with y'all comments. I'm getting fancy. So let me go ahead and use some of these features that's built into this, and do this. I do this. Yeah, still on the books. We also have Dr. Jaye Wimilawe's books, Shango's Son and Obatala's Daughter, which are available at all of your favorite booksellers. Of course, check the Black booksellers first, but these are two beautiful books that introduce children to various Orisha as well as words in Yoruba and aspects of Yoruba culture. They are beautifully illustrated. I have these books myself. They're children's books, but I love them myself. And there are things that even as adults, if you're new to Orisha spirituality, there are things that you can learn. And these stories that are in the books come from some of the stories of the Orisha. Okay, so really beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful offering to the community. And I encourage you all to check these out. Now, on the level of clothing and accessories, which we know we love, we have a wonderful Karma, going to be one of our featured vendors for the Black Spirit Solstice Summit. Beautiful. This unicorn, wait, I gotta zoom in on the unicorn shirt because it's so adorable. Again, really helping our children. Not all of this is about African spirituality directly, but understanding that a part of what we are doing with African spirituality is helping our children see themselves, helping our children understand themselves as being beautiful, as being powerful, as being worthy, as being worthy of representation and all of that. And so I love this melanin unicorn that has nice afro hair, right? Every unicorn we always see has the little silky, stringy, flowy hair. Beautiful representation of a unicorn with afro hair. And it's the little things. It's the little things. We don't know literally how much this will affect a young person who may be thinking that, their hair is wrong with their hair, because every representation that they see of hair, even on Black things, and we won't even get into that, but is, the yaki weave, 36 inches, and everything is flowy and, and again, we have to, and I'm gonna just talk about it, we have to model things for our children. We have to model things. So if we tell our child, listen, your afro hair is beautiful, and they never, ever, ever see us embracing our own, again, don't lie to children. Don't lie, like we said. They're smart. Them little girls is looking at you like, no, wait a minute. Mommy said that my natural hair is beautiful as it is, but I ain't never seen her hair look like mine. Every time I see her hair, she got something covering it or sewn into it or making her hair look like this other hair that I feel like I want my hair to look like, and she's telling me that my hair is okay, right? Think about it, right? And again, this is not to shame anyone who say that, if you have a weave, you're not Afrocentric. It's none of that. But it's to understand that how we affect our children and what they're really thinking when they look at us, and how we can't just we can't just tell them, do what I say. They're going to watch what we're doing. Dang, Melinda says, this is the reason I started my natural hair journey. My son finds me beautiful either way, but he lights up when I twist my hair. Of course he does, because he can see that yes, that's who we really are, right? And so we spend a lot of time lying to our children, right? We spend a lot of time telling them things aren't what they are. We spend a lot of time, right, telling them, do as I say, not as I do. And part of the reason that we do that is because, and I'm gonna just keep it real, right? A lot of the reason why we say the do as I say and not as I do is because we don't want to do what we know to be right. Right? We don't want it, right? We tell them don't smoke, don't drink, but then we do it, And again, it's not to shame, it's not to say there's anything wrong with that, but it's for us to be clear with ourselves and examine all the things that we say and recognize, we don't even recognize the degree to which we dismiss children's intelligence and intuition a lot of the time, right? And that leads them to distrust themselves. Understand that the distrust many of us have in ourselves, come on, somebody, is because we're a child. Is because of somebody saying, oh, put that, oh, that's not real. Put that down. Oh, don't do that. Oh, put that down, right? A lot of the time, it comes from that. Our own spirits get shut down by the things that our parents say to us at times, right? Our own selves get shut down because we are unwilling to have the discipline that we want our children to have. Hello, somebody. Part of raising children is disciplining ourselves, is understanding the models that we stand as, is understanding the ancestors that we will one day be. And so this challenge for all of us, whether we have biological children or not, right, is to be better, is to be more disciplined, is to understand that children, whether they are our physical children or not, our world. Children are what keeps humanity going, right? And that we have to value them, we have to respect them, we have to protect them, right? Satya said they would call out your hypocrisy. That's right. When they see, they be like, but you said, you told me to do this, but you did that, right? And even explain that to them. Again, explain. Seek that place of understanding, right? Understand that there are things that they see that you don't. So respect their wisdom, and bring them into the fold. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Remembering again that that wise child will inherit glory. Yes. So making wise people out of your children is in your best interest. That is what brings the glory, right? My parents, hey, you can imagine the type of child I was. Respected. They didn't get it all the time, and they still may not get it all the time, but they always respected my intelligence and always understood who I was, or when wanted to understand who I am, right? Wanted to understand who I am. Melinda says, I ask about a lot for guidance. Yes, we all, epa, Orisha. Yes. We have to ask for guidance. And it is harder than we can ever imagine. Yourself daily, Ashe. It's hard. And part of the reason why it's hard is because of the false society that we've really set up. We've isolated ourselves. That's number one. Children are not intended to be isolated. So please, especially in this time, be extra loving to your children. However difficult this quarantine business is for you, understand that it is 10 times more difficult for them. This is a time that they're supposed to be with their age mates. This is a time that they're supposed to be together learning. This is also, again, I talk about polygamy at times and how it was never, ever about men having a bunch of sex. That's never what polygamy was about. It was always about building community. It was always about children growing up together. Because if a child and another wife has a child, those children grow up together, right? It was always about creating community within community, right? And so don't get me wrong, 99.9% of us is not ready for all of that. We're not even ready to share our homes without even thinking about sharing husbands and wives. So that's a whole other thing. But that's also one of the reasons, again, that as we shared with you on Wednesday, why Iyalode and I have decided to join forces about it, because of course several people have said, oh, You got somebody living with you? Or don't you need your privacy? Oh, you and your husband? And da, 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 da. And privacy is the death of us in many cases, right? That idea of we need privacy, what does that even mean? What does that mean? And what do we need it for? We need to be able to do stuff that don't nobody else see us do. Why? Because what are we doing? What are we doing that nobody else can see? What are we doing that we need to hide from everybody? What am I doing that I would need 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house just for myself and my husband? What you doing that you can't share your space, right? And so this idea of isolation is probably the most detrimental thing that Western culture has introduced to us. And it is especially detrimental for our children. Children need togetherness. Children need each other to learn from. Right? Small humans, they are learning how to be in the world. And they have to have that trial and error through playing with each other and getting into a fight. And this one take a toy and then they give it back. And they need to do that without us interfering with them. Right? As soon as we see a conflict, we want to run over and say, oh, okay, no, fix. Step back. Understand that they're humans and that they will work through things if we let them. Right? Single mothers, no mother, no person. Single mother, father, no a child by themselves. That's not what was ever intended. Never was it intended. So of course, yes, it's hard. Now that we're trying to work and we're trying to go do this and that, and now with COVID trying to school them at that, none of that is ever the way anything was supposed to be. And so if there's anything that we take from this, especially with regard to our children, is that we need to get them together. Recognize that the way we've been going was not serving them, nor was it serving us. A lot of us, of course, are eager to get the children back into school because it's glorified babysitting. We don't care what they teaching them or what they not teaching them, as long as they're not in our face. I'm keeping it real. Right? And if that's how you feel about your children, we got to examine that and examine what type of people you're expecting them to grow up to. Energy you're giving them. Go away. I don't want you here. Go somewhere. Go to school. Let somebody else be with you. Let somebody else deal with you. If that's the energy that we're giving to our children, what type of human beings do we expect them to grow up to be? Right? So as we prepare to draw to a close, and as I said, if you have any questions, you're welcome to drop them. I did see a question, which I'm going to address about the Akeko circle, about this specifically. I welcome them. But again, just parents, this is really a call to action for you. It's really a call to action for you to understand who you are and what you're actually doing. You are grooming new human beings. You're not raising children. You are creating the pathway for new humans to fulfill their destiny. You are creating the space for humans to become everything that they are supposed to be. You have the power, especially right now, to create a whole new paradigm. Get with some of those other single mothers in your area or single fathers. Bring them children together into a learning pod. Get with some of the other folks in your community. See about getting a house together. Get with some of the folks, because this isolation thing, it's not going to work. And it's false. It's false. Even when we think that we're doing things by ourselves, we got Amazon boxes, we got post office boxes, we got the grocery store with Walmart, the Target, whoever, wherever, whatever. Everything we do is involving other people. But the trick is to involve the people you want to involve. See, A lot of us are much more comfortable having all those strangers involved in our lives than people who we actually claim to love and want to be with. You know how I do, honey. All right. So I just invite you today to love your children, to love them first. Before you think about discipline, before you think about any of that, love them first. Think about how the things you say and do affect them. Think about if you talk to them worse than you talk to adults who are your friends. If you treat your friends better than you treat those who came out of your who are a mixture of, right? Think about those things because many of us do it. And I know that it can get frustrating, right? I know, and especially because of the way that this society has set things up for us, I know it can get frustrating. So I want to offer a prayer right now. Epa, Orisha, Orisha, Epa. We call right now on Obatala, the owner of White Cloth, the Father of all. We call on you, Baba Wa Obatala, to help calm, ease, and clear our pathways towards good, beneficial parenting, both for those who have biological children as well as for those who are parenting the community. We just ask for you to lift them up, lift up our sense of patience, lift up our sense of rightness, lift us up to want to help these new humans fulfill their destiny in the world. Let us understand that they are not possessions. Let us understand that they are our wealth. Let us understand that they are brilliant and that they have so much to offer if only we would let them. We give thanks right now to Abatala, the crafter of children in the womb. We give thanks for the coming together of the parts that allow children to be made in the world. We give thanks for Oshun and Yamoja, the waters that cradle children in the womb. We give thanks for Ogun, the birth, that push. We just give thanks for every part of the process and pray always, always, always for our children to be plentiful on the earth, that we may continue and continue and continue. Ashe, 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 Ashe. Ashe, 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 Toi Baeshu, Ashe, 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 give thanks and praise. So glad to be with you all on Second Sundays, to be able to wisdom. Thank you so much for being with us. And we just look forward. I look forward with Ile Ashe Ray to having more programming that is specifically geared towards children and really helping parents to understand what they should be doing with their children. Invite you to as well check out Iyalode Fini's website. She has a rites of passage for children, which is online that you can do, and the parents are required to go to the class. You got to know what your children are learning so that you can assist them, right? And so it's a beautiful time. The tweens class is going now. They'll have a teen class beginning in February. So use this medicine, involve your children, learn from them, let them learn it and teach it to you. Because like I said, they're going to learn it quicker than you are. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. As always, you are welcome to pour any gift that is on your heart to give out to the ministry at Funlayo W on Venmo or funlayo@asheray.com for PayPal or Zelle. We just give thanks for the ability. I give thanks for the ability to have 100% of my time now dedicated to the Ile Ashe Ray family, dedicated to prayer and meditation, dedicated to Communiversity, dedicated to building our community, right? And that was really something so important for me. I said, look, I had to look at the woman in the mirror and say, listen, you talking all this Black empowerment and you talking all of this African this and that, and then you gonna go and teach that to somebody else's kids because that's who's paying you? No. We say our community can pay us. Our community, come on. Oh yeah, come in. Our community campaign. Speaking of community, welcome. That's okay. Welcome out, Iyalode, Ekabo, Iya. Yes. Saying that we need the love, we need the togetherness.
She don't need no privacy. She need Big Mama to hug every morning.
Yes. Ashe. Y'all know that's what I need. I'm still a big baby. I need all the mamas to just hug me and love me. Shout out to my mama.
My mama, my jaw. So I need somebody to be like, oh, you need me right now.
That's right. And we do. We need each other. We need our children. We need our elders. Yes, our community can pay us. Yes, we can. And you all have showed that in such a beautiful way. That's why I have told let you know you did this. You supported, you enabled us to be able to spend all of our energy pouring back out into the community. And so we just are so grateful. I'm grateful always. And just we're praying for you in every minute. We're praying for you always. We're praying for your children. Please do bring them to the rites of passage. Show them the prayer and meditation. Love on them extra, especially. Bring them back to the one question that we got to the Akeko Circle. So the Akeko Circle is our monthly reading group. And so the Akeko Circle are people who make monthly donations to the temple and who participate in reading our books and participate in discussions that we have together. So we absolutely invite you to come and join us. We'll have a new cycle of books starting for January. And of course, as a member, you also get access to all of the previous videos that we have been in the circle. So check out everything that you need is at asheeray.com. So go on ahead over there, click Communiversity, check out the Akeko Circle, get the ebook, learn the prayer, teach it to your children, and we will look forward to being again together. We give thanks. Oh yes, Melinda, we love you. Barbara, give thanks. Kamara, Ravel, oh, blessings you. Oh boy, I saw they wori wofun. Y'all have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. We about to go outside and enjoy. Yes. You reading that color my paper? Hey, that's what's up. We're about to go outside and enjoy some sunshine. Y'all have a beautiful rest of the Sunday, and remember to join us on Wednesday for that recharge. Y'all take care. Odabo.